Ladies and gentlemen, hear me clearly. You were not created to blend in. You were created to stand out. You were designed by God Himself with purpose, intention, and power. There's greatness inside you, and no one on this earth has what you have. The enemy of your destiny isn't your circumstances, your past, or your critics. It's your decision to doubt yourself. Today, I'm here to tell you that it's time to walk boldly into who you are meant to be. Authenticity is the foundation of a powerful life because it allows you to live in alignment with your true identity instead of constantly chasing the opinions and approval of others. When you choose authenticity, you are choosing to stop performing for an audience that doesn't determine your worth and start honoring the God-given uniqueness that was placed inside you. Too many people live their lives trying to become what others expect, never realizing that their true strength lies in being themselves fully. Living authentically isn't about being reckless or careless. It's about being real. It's about standing firm in your values, your beliefs, and your vision for your life without compromising just to fit in with the crowd. The truth is, you were designed differently, and that difference is your advantage. When you decide to walk in authenticity, you set yourself free from the exhausting cycle of comparison. Comparison steals joy and makes you feel like you are always behind, always less than, and always lacking something. But when you embrace authenticity, you no longer measure yourself against someone else's highlight reel. You start to see your own journey as significant, your own gifts as valuable, and your own calling as important. This shift empowers you to stop trying to impress people who don't understand your assignment and instead focus on being faithful to the path that was meant for you. Authenticity frees you from the weight of pretending, and when you are no longer pretending, you have more energy to invest in becoming the person you were created to be. Being authentic doesn't mean everyone will like you, and that's exactly why it's powerful. When you stop trying to be liked by everyone, you start becoming respected by the right people. You begin attracting those who align with your purpose, your values, and your vision, and you stop wasting time chasing approval from people who were never meant to be in your inner circle. Authenticity acts like a filter, removing distractions and false relationships while bringing into your life those who truly see and value you. This is how authenticity multiplies your influence, because people are drawn to what's real. They can sense when someone is genuine, and that level of honesty and transparency creates trust. There is incredible strength in being unapologetically yourself, but many people are afraid to show their true selves because of fear of rejection. That fear can hold you back for years, keeping you small and silent while your gifts remain hidden. Authenticity requires courage because it means taking the risk of being disliked, misunderstood, or criticized. But the reward of authenticity is far greater than the risk. When you are true to yourself, you gain freedom, peace, and self-respect. No amount of approval from others can replace the peace that comes from living a life aligned with your values and your identity. The reason authenticity is so powerful is because it cannot be replicated. No one else has your exact experiences, your exact way of thinking, your exact combination of strengths and weaknesses, and that's what makes you irreplaceable. Too many people spend their lives trying to imitate someone else's path, not realizing that imitation always leads to limitation. Authenticity is what sets you apart in a world full of copies. When you choose to lean into who you truly are, you become memorable because there is no substitute for originality. This is why authenticity is a magnet for opportunity. People don't invest in what's fake, they invest in what's real. Living authentically also means being willing to acknowledge your flaws and failures. Authenticity doesn't pretend that everything is perfect. It embraces your humanity, your struggles, your mistakes, and your scars are part of your story, and they can become a source of connection and inspiration for others. When you stop hiding your imperfections and start owning your story, you become relatable. You give people permission to be honest about their own struggles, and this builds deeper relationships. Authenticity isn't about being flawless. It's about being fearless in your honesty. Choosing authenticity also means taking ownership of your decisions and your life. It's easy to blame others, your past, or your circumstances, but authenticity requires radical responsibility. It means acknowledging where you are right now, no matter how far it is from where you want to be, and deciding that you will rise from this place with integrity. You stop living based on excuses and start living based on principles. This kind of ownership is empowering because when you own your life, you reclaim your power to change it. Authenticity is about living a life of integrity where your actions align with your beliefs and your words align with your heart. There is a deep confidence that comes from authenticity because when you know who you are, no one can intimidate you or make you feel inferior. Your worth is no longer tied to your performance or to the opinions of others. You stop living like a chameleon, changing colors to fit in with every environment, and instead you become a lighthouse, standing firm and shining your light no matter the storm. Confidence that comes from authenticity is unshakable because it isn't built on a fragile foundation of public opinion. It's built on truth. This kind of confidence changes how you show up in every area of your life, from your relationships to your work to your personal growth. When you are authentic, you also give yourself permission to grow. Authenticity doesn't mean staying the same. It means being honest about where you are while also being committed to becoming more. People often confuse authenticity with complacency, but they are not the same. Being authentic means being truthful about your strengths and weaknesses, your desires and fears, and your dreams and challenges, and then allowing that truth to guide your growth. You don't pretend to have it all together. You embrace the process of transformation while staying true to your core identity. At the heart of authenticity is freedom. Freedom from fear, from people pleasing, from comparison, and from the prison of pretending. This freedom is priceless because it allows you to live boldly and walk in purpose without apology. Authenticity unlocks the door to real joy because when you're no longer performing, you can finally rest in being yourself. That's when your creativity flows freely, your relationships deepen, and your confidence soars. Authenticity isn't just about living honestly, it's about living powerfully because you are finally aligned with who you were created to be. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you choose to build every single day through the decisions you make and the beliefs you hold about yourself. Many people think confidence is reserved for those with natural charisma, a certain appearance, or a flawless track record. But true confidence has nothing to do with those things. True confidence is developed internally when you decide that your value is not determined by your circumstances or the opinions of others. It's an inner strength that comes from believing that you have what it takes to face any challenge that comes your way. Confidence is a choice to trust yourself, to trust your abilities, and to trust the process even when everything around you seems uncertain. When you choose confidence, you are choosing to silence the voice of doubt that tries to tell you that you're not good enough or not capable enough. That voice will always be there, but confidence is the decision to rise above it. It is saying to yourself, I may not have all the answers, but I will figure it out. Confidence isn't built in the spotlight, It's built in the quiet moments when you choose courage over fear and action over hesitation. It's built every time you push through discomfort and prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought you could. The most powerful thing about confidence is that it doesn't require perfection. You don't have to wait until you have everything figured out to carry yourself with boldness. In fact, confidence is often what allows you to succeed even when you are unprepared, because it gives you the courage to take risks and step into opportunities that others shy away from. People who wait until they feel confident before they take action rarely move forward. Confidence isn't a feeling, it's a decision that creates momentum, and that momentum builds the feeling over time. You don't need to have everything in place to be confident. You simply need to decide that fear won't stop you from showing up. Confidence is also a reflection of how you see yourself. If you constantly tear yourself down with negative self-talk, you will never build confidence. Choosing confidence means choosing to believe in your own worth and speaking life over yourself. It's about replacing thoughts of insecurity with words of affirmation and faith. The way you speak to yourself matters because your mind listens and shapes your reality based on your beliefs. If you believe you are capable, talented, and worthy, your actions will align with that belief. Confidence starts with how you think, and your thoughts shape the way you carry yourself, the energy you project, and the opportunities you attract. Confidence is forged in adversity. It is easy to feel bold when life is smooth, but real confidence is developed when you are tested. Every obstacle you overcome adds another layer of strength to your character, and every challenge you face builds resilience. The more you step into difficult situations and find a way through, the stronger your confidence becomes. This is why some of the most confident people you'll meet aren't the ones with the easiest lives. They are the ones who have faced hardship and chosen to rise anyway. Their confidence is not shallow or fake. It's deeply rooted in the proof they have of their own ability to overcome. Choosing confidence also means refusing to let fear control your decisions. Fear is one of the biggest barriers to growth because it keeps you trapped in comfort zones, but confidence gives you the courage to step out into the unknown. Confidence doesn't eliminate fear, it teaches you to act in spite of it. You may still feel nervous, you may still feel unsure, but you take the step anyway. This is what separates confident people from those who remain stuck. Confident people move forward, even when it's uncomfortable, and every time they do, their courage grows stronger. Confidence isn't the absence of fear, it's mastery over fear. Confidence is contagious. When you walk into a room with confidence, people notice. Your energy changes the atmosphere around you. Others can feel it when you believe in yourself, and that belief inspires trust. Opportunities often come to those who appear confident, not necessarily because they are the most skilled, but because they carry themselves with assurance. People naturally gravitate toward leaders who exude confidence because it creates a sense of stability and reliability. This is why choosing confidence is not only about you, it's about the influence you carry and the impact you can have on others. Another powerful aspect of confidence is that it cannot be faked for long. You can try to project an image of boldness, but real confidence is rooted in self, respect, and integrity. It comes from knowing you are living in alignment with your values, putting in the work behind the scenes, and growing consistently. Confidence that comes from authenticity is unshakable because it isn't tied to a performance or a mask. When you know your worth, you no longer need external validation to feel secure. You stop living for approval and start living with conviction, and that is where true confidence begins. Confidence is a choice that must be made daily. It's not a one-time decision, but a mindset you reinforce with every action you take. Each time you step up, speak up, or take on something that scares you, you are strengthening your confidence muscle. The more you practice confidence, the more natural it becomes. Confidence grows with evidence, and the only way to create that evidence is to keep pushing yourself into new levels of growth. You can't think your way into confidence, you have to act your way into it. Every day presents opportunities to choose courage, and every choice builds the foundation of who you are becoming. Ultimately, confidence is not about being the loudest or the boldest. It's about being secure in your identity and refusing to let external circumstances define your worth. It is a quiet strength that empowers you to lead, to create, and to live boldly. It is choosing to show up fully, even when you feel uncertain, because you know that the potential inside you is greater than the fear around you. Confidence is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, because once you choose it, no one can take it away from you, and it will continue to open doors and create opportunities that fear would have kept locked forever. Being yourself is one of the most powerful decisions you can ever make, because it sets you free from the pressure of living a life that was never meant for you. Too many people spend their entire lives trying to fit into molds that society has created, copying others because they fear standing out. But there is a reason you were made different. Your voice, your personality, your perspective, and your gifts were carefully designed to fulfill a purpose that no one else can carry. When you choose to be yourself, you embrace your originality, and that originality becomes your greatest strength. The world is filled with people trying to imitate each other, but the ones who truly make an impact are those who are unapologetically authentic. There is nothing more exhausting than pretending to be someone you are not. Trying to fit into a version of yourself that others expect is not only draining, but also robs you of the joy of living fully. Every time you suppress your true self to gain approval, you give away a piece of your confidence. Living this way will always keep you stuck, because you are trying to build a life based on someone else's blueprint. You were never meant to live according to their plan. You were meant to create your own. When you stop trying to impress people and start honoring your individuality, you experience a level of peace and freedom that cannot be found anywhere else. Being yourself means embracing every part of who you are, even the parts that others may not understand. It means being comfortable with your strengths as well as your weaknesses, because both are part of your story. You are not meant to be perfect, and authenticity doesn't require perfection. It simply requires honesty. The more honest you are about who you are, the stronger and more confident you become. The people who truly love and respect you will accept you for who you are, and those who don't are not meant to walk your path. Authenticity acts as a filter, removing relationships built on superficiality and leaving behind the ones that are genuine and meaningful. When you choose to be yourself, you also give others permission to do the same. People are drawn to authenticity because it is rare. In a world that encourages filters, facades, and false images, being real is revolutionary. When you show up as yourself, you inspire others to drop their masks and embrace their true identities as well. This is how movements are created and lives are changed. Not by being a copy of someone else, but by boldly living out your unique calling. People don't connect with perfection, they connect with humanity. They connect with your story, your vulnerability, and your courage to be authentic. Trying to be a copy of someone else will always lead to frustration, because you are comparing yourself to a standard you were never designed to meet. Comparison is a thief, and it robs you of joy creativity, and confidence. You may admire someone else's success, but that success is rooted in their journey, not yours. You have a different set of experiences, gifts, and opportunities that are meant to create a different outcome. Instead of copying someone else's life, focus on mastering your own. The world doesn't need another version of someone who already exists. It needs the unique expression of greatness that only you can offer. Being yourself is an act of courage because it often means standing alone. There will always be voices telling you that you need to change to fit in, that you're too different, too bold, or too much. But the truth is, your difference is your superpower. The qualities that make you stand out are the very things that will set you apart. If you try to blend in, you will bury your potential under the weight of other people's expectations. Being yourself requires boldness, but that boldness creates influence because people trust and respect those who are unapologetically authentic. You were created with a unique combination of strengths, talents, and life experiences that cannot be duplicated. That means there is no competition when it comes to being you. No one else has your exact perspective, your exact voice, or your exact approach to solving problems. Your uniqueness is your advantage, and when you embrace it, you will start to see opportunities that others cannot. Many people miss their destiny because they are too busy trying to live someone else's dream. The moment you stop trying to be a copy and start living as your authentic self is the moment doors begin to open for you that were never accessible before. Being yourself also requires that you accept and learn from your flaws. Too often, people try to hide their imperfections, but the truth is those imperfections can become a source of strength. They tell your story and shape your character. People are inspired by those who have overcome challenges, not those who pretend they never had any. When you own your flaws, you take away their power to control you. Your story becomes a testimony of growth, resilience, and authenticity. You stop living in shame and start living in truth, and that truth is liberating. Living authentically is also a journey of self-discovery. It means constantly learning more about who you are, what you value, and what you were created to do. It requires self-awareness and a willingness to grow without losing your identity. Many people fear change because they think it means losing themselves. But when you grow authentically, change actually reveals more of who you are. Growth doesn't mean abandoning your identity, it means refining it. As you embrace your uniqueness and live authentically, your purpose becomes clearer, your confidence grows stronger, and your influence expands naturally when you stop trying to be a copy and start embracing yourself fully. You step into a life that is deeply fulfilling. You are no longer weighed down by the need for approval, and you stop living for applause. You begin to move with confidence and conviction because you know who you are and what you stand for. You live from a place of truth, and truth has power. Being yourself means living a life of freedom, creativity, and authenticity that not only impacts you, but also inspires everyone around you to embrace their own uniqueness. Rejection is one of the most painful experiences a person can face, but it is also one of the most powerful teachers you will ever encounter if you choose to see it differently. Too many people allow rejection to become a label, a weight they carry that convinces them they are not good enough, talented enough, or worthy of success. But rejection was never meant to define you, it was meant to refine you. Every no you've ever received was an opportunity for redirection, a chance to be pushed closer to where you truly belong. Rejection isn't a reflection of your value, it's simply feedback that something wasn't aligned with your purpose at that moment. When you understand this, you begin to see rejection not as a closed door, but as guidance toward the right one. Many people allow rejection to stop them from pursuing their goals altogether. They take one, no, as a permanent verdict, a sign that they should give up, when in reality, rejection is often proof that they are on the path of growth. Every successful person you admire has a story filled with rejection, setbacks, and obstacles. The difference between them and those who quit is that they refuse to let rejection become their identity. They didn't see it as failure, they saw it as a lesson. When you change your perspective about rejection, you take back the power it once had over you. It no longer has the ability to paralyze you because you recognize it as part of the process. Rejection is often protection in disguise. There are opportunities, relationships, and paths that may look good, but are not good for you. And rejection is sometimes the very thing that shields you from walking into situations that would harm you or limit your growth. When a door closes, it can feel devastating in the moment, but over time, you often see that it was a blessing. Trusting this truth takes faith because in the moment, rejection feels like loss, but in reality, it is often a setup for something better. The rejection you face today could be the very thing that positions you for your breakthrough tomorrow. The danger of rejection is that it tries to plant seeds of insecurity. When people reject you, it's easy to internalize it and start questioning your worth. But rejection is rarely about you as a person. It is often about timing, compatibility, or circumstances beyond your control. If you allow rejection to define your identity, you will carry unnecessary shame and self-doubt that was never meant for you. This is why you must separate your sense of worth from external validation. Your value is not determined by who accepts or rejects you. You are valuable because of who you are, not because of what someone else thinks of you. Rejection also reveals resilience. It's one of the most powerful ways to strengthen your character and your confidence, because every time you face rejection and keep moving forward, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than you thought. Each rejection you overcome builds mental toughness and emotional maturity. It teaches you how to navigate disappointment, adapt to change, and develop perseverance. Rejection doesn't have to break you. It can build you if you allow it to shape your mindset. The more you face rejection with courage, the less power it has over you. Another truth about rejection is that it can be a mirror reflecting areas where you can grow and improve. Not all rejection is negative. Sometimes it's constructive feedback in disguise. When handled with humility, rejection can teach you valuable lessons that help you sharpen your skills, refine your approach, and develop new strategies. People who fear rejection never take the time to evaluate what it can teach them, but those who embrace it as part of the journey become stronger and more effective. Rejection doesn't mean you're not capable. It may simply mean you need to adjust your approach, and that awareness can be a gift. Rejection often exposes who and what truly belongs in your life. Not everyone is meant to go where you're going, and not every opportunity is meant to be yours. When someone rejects you, it might feel like loss, but in many cases, it is a form of pruning. Removing what cannot handle the weight of your calling. If rejection hurts, it's because you're letting go of what you thought you needed. But that pain often leads to freedom. Rejection creates space for the right relationships, opportunities, and experiences to enter your life. What leaves your life through rejection often makes room for what's meant to stay. When you start viewing rejection as a stepping stone instead of a stumbling block, you will approach life differently. You will take more risks because rejection no longer scares you. You will go after bigger opportunities because you understand that a no doesn't mean never. It just means not now or not this way. rejection becomes a sign that you're stretching beyond your comfort zone. And that's exactly where growth happens. If you never face rejection, it's likely because you're not aiming high enough. Rejection is a natural part of pursuing anything great, and it is proof that you are putting yourself in positions where success is possible. Rejection also helps you develop confidence in your identity. When you are rejected and still choose to stand tall, you prove to yourself that your worth is not tied to the opinions of others. This level of confidence is powerful because it makes you unshakable. You stop living for approval and you start living with conviction. You learn to trust yourself, your vision, and your purpose, even when others don't see it yet. Some of the greatest leaders and innovators were rejected repeatedly before their ideas were accepted, but their confidence in their calling allowed them to persevere until the world caught up. Ultimately, rejection is a necessary part of becoming who you were meant to be because it strips away false identities, reveals your resilience, and forces you to grow. It can hurt deeply, but that pain is often the pressure that molds you into a stronger, wiser, and more focused version of yourself. When you stop letting rejection define you, you start walking in a freedom that allows you to take bolder risks, pursue bigger dreams, and step into opportunities that fear would have kept you from experiencing. Fear is one of the greatest barriers to success and fulfillment because it keeps people trapped in cycles of hesitation, doubt, and inaction. It whispers lies that convince you that you're not ready, that you're not capable, and that you'll fail if you try. Fear doesn't need to be loud to be effective. It just needs to be consistent enough to keep you from stepping forward. The truth is, fear will always be present when you're stepping into something new, but the presence of fear does not mean you're not meant to move forward. Fear is often an indicator that you're on the edge of growth, that you're about to do something bigger than yourself, and that's exactly where faith comes in. Faith is the decision to move forward even when you can't see the whole picture, trusting that the steps you take in obedience and courage will lead you exactly where you're supposed to be. Stepping out of fear into faith is not about waiting for fear to disappear before taking action. It's about choosing to act despite the fear. Many people wait for a perfect moment, a moment where they feel completely confident and certain. But that moment rarely comes. The only way to silence fear is to drown it out with movement. Faith is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting the one who does. It's a decision to lean on something greater than yourself, to believe in the unseen, and to trust that your purpose will guide your path. Fear paralyzes, but faith propels, and the moment you decide to lean into faith, you start breaking free from the chains that fear tries to place on your life. Fear thrives on uncertainty, but faith thrives in it. When you choose faith, you embrace the unknown as part of the process rather than something to avoid. You start to see uncertainty not as a threat, but as a space where miracles and breakthroughs can happen. Fear tries to convince you that if you can't see every step of the journey, you shouldn't move at all. Faith reminds you that you don't need to see the entire staircase to take the first step. Every time you choose faith over fear, you strengthen your spiritual courage and deepen your trust in the fact that you were created with intention, and nothing you face is meant to destroy you. Fear is loud because it feeds off your imagination, painting worst-case scenarios and convincing you that failure is inevitable. Faith, on the other hand, uses that same imagination to help you envision possibility, purpose, and potential. When you feed fear, it grows stronger. When you feed faith, it becomes unstoppable. The way you feed faith is through intentional action, positive affirmation, prayer, and belief that the vision placed in your heart is there for a reason. If fear can use your imagination against you, faith can use it for you. Instead of rehearsing failure in your mind, faith teaches you to rehearse success, to visualize yourself stepping into opportunities, and to trust that what you see internally will manifest externally if you're willing to act on it. Fear often disguises itself as wisdom or caution, making you believe that hesitation is the safe choice. But safety and stagnation are often the same thing. Living in fear may feel comfortable because it keeps you in familiar places, but it also keeps you from growth. Faith doesn't guarantee comfort, it guarantees transformation. When you choose faith, you accept that discomfort is part of your development. The path to greatness will always require walking through fear, because fear only exists in areas where growth is possible. If you're not feeling fear, it's likely because you're not stretching yourself enough. Faith is what gives you the courage to step into that discomfort with boldness, knowing that growth is on the other side. Choosing faith over fear is not just about personal development. It's about aligning yourself with purpose. There is a reason you have dreams and desires that scare you. They are calling you into a higher version of yourself. Faith is not reckless. It's intentional trust. It's the belief that the vision you carry is not random, but divinely inspired. And because of that, you will be given everything you need to accomplish it. Fear will try to convince you to shrink, but faith challenges you to expand. The life you want is often on the other side of fear, and the only way to access it is to step forward even when everything in you feels hesitant. Fear thrives in silence and passivity, but faith grows through bold declarations and consistent action. You cannot wait for courage to find you. You must create it by stepping out. Every time you make a decision based on faith instead of fear, you build momentum. And that momentum makes it easier to trust yourself, trust God, and trust the process. Faith doesn't eliminate challenges, but it gives you the strength to face them. It shifts your focus from the size of the obstacle to the size of the vision you've been given. When you choose faith, you begin to see obstacles as opportunities, setbacks as setups, and fear as a sign that you're walking in the right direction. Stepping out of fear into faith requires a mindset shift, because fear teaches you to focus on what you might lose, while faith teaches you to focus on what you might gain. Fear keeps you clinging to security, but faith pushes you to reach for abundance. Fear says, what if I fail? Faith says, what if this works? The truth is, you will face rejection, setbacks, and failures along the way, but faith reminds you that those are not the end of your story. They are lessons that prepare you for the breakthrough you've been believing for. The more you choose faith, the more you develop resilience. And that resilience becomes your greatest weapon against fear. Fear tries to convince you that you're alone, but faith reminds you that you're never walking this journey by yourself. Faith connects you to something bigger than you, whether it's God, your purpose, or your vision. And that connection gives you strength that fear cannot match. When you rely solely on yourself, fear feels overwhelming because it magnifies your limitations. But when you lean on faith, you tap into unlimited strength, creativity, and courage. That's why stepping out in faith is so transformative. It forces you to rely on resources that go beyond your own ability. Fear is powerful only if you allow it to control your decisions. Every time you choose fear, you stay the same. Every time you choose faith, you grow. It's a daily decision, not a one-time act. You will have to choose faith repeatedly in the face of uncertainty, disappointment, and fear of failure. But every step you take in faith builds evidence that you are capable of more than you realized. Fear will always try to stop you, but faith will always push you forward. And that forward motion is what leads to transformation. Your gift is not random, and it was not given to you by accident. You were created with a unique combination of talents, skills, experiences, and perspectives that no one else in this world possesses. That means there is something inside you that the world desperately needs right now. Too often, people downplay their abilities, comparing themselves to others and assuming their contribution isn't significant, but your gift was placed in you for a reason. It is not meant to be hidden, minimized, or ignored. It is meant to be developed, refined, and shared because your gift is not just for you, it is for the lives you are called to impact. When you withhold your gift, you are withholding a solution that someone else is waiting for. There are people on the other side of your obedience who are depending on you to show up fully. Your gift could be the answer to someone's prayer, the encouragement someone needs to keep going, or the innovation that changes an entire industry. The challenge is that fear, doubt, and insecurity convince us to keep our gifts hidden. We tell ourselves that we're not ready, that we don't know enough, or that someone else is already doing it better. But your gift is not about competition, it's about contribution. Even if others are in the same field or have similar skills, they do not carry your exact expression of that gift, and that is why your voice matters. Your gift was designed to meet a need. Every generation has challenges, and each person has a role in solving them. When you step into your purpose and use your gift boldly, you become a vessel for change. You never know who is watching you, learning from you, and being inspired by you. What comes naturally to you could be life changing for someone else. What seems small to you could be monumental to another person. That's why it's dangerous to underestimate your abilities or hide them out of fear. Someone is waiting for you to rise, and every day you delay using your gift, someone else is missing out on what you were created to offer. Your gift also carries power because it is tied to your identity and purpose. The things you are passionate about, the skills you've developed, and the experiences you've endured have shaped you for a reason. The obstacles you've overcome have prepared you to serve others in a way no one else can. Even your pain can be part of your gift because it gives you compassion, wisdom, and strength that allow you to help others more effectively. Nothing in your life has been wasted, and every part of your story is connected to your purpose. Your gift is more than a talent. It is a calling, and that calling is urgent. The enemy of purpose is procrastination. Too many people are waiting for a perfect moment to start using their gifts, but that perfect moment will never come. There will always be challenges, doubts, and fears, but you were not created to wait until everything is ideal before stepping into your assignment. You were created to move forward in faith, even when it's uncomfortable. Greatness is not born in perfection, it's developed through consistent action. Your gift becomes more powerful the more you use it, and waiting only robs you of time that could be spent growing, serving, and impacting lives. When you choose to use your gift boldly, it creates a ripple effect. Your courage to show up fully inspires others to do the same. People often think their gift is insignificant because they don't see its immediate impact, but influence is not always obvious. The seeds you plant through your gift today may bear fruit years from now in ways you could never imagine. That's why it's important to keep moving forward even when you don't see immediate results. Your consistency matters. Your gift is a tool, and the more you use it, the sharper and more effective it becomes. Your gift is also a responsibility. It was entrusted to you for a reason, and that means you have a duty to steward it well. It's not enough to simply recognize your talent. You must develop it. You must invest time, energy, and resources into becoming excellent at what you do, because excellence brings honor to the gift you've been given. When you refine your skills and grow in your abilities, you position yourself to have greater influence and impact. A gift that is neglected or buried cannot fulfill its purpose, but a gift that is cultivated can transform lives and create opportunities you never imagined. Your gift was designed to make room for you, but that room will never be open if you refuse to use it. Opportunities are often tied to action, and when you take steps to operate in your purpose, doors begin to open that were previously inaccessible. Your gift is a key, and it unlocks not only your potential, but also blessings and opportunities for others. The world is full of people who are living beneath their potential because they have chosen comfort over calling. The moment you start walking boldly in your purpose is the moment you begin to live a life of significance rather than survival. There is no one else who can do exactly what you can do in the exact way you can do it. Your voice, your creativity, your ideas, and your story carry weight. That is why comparison is such a trap. It convinces you that your gift isn't valuable because it doesn't look like someone else's. But your difference is your advantage. The uniqueness of your gift is what makes it powerful. When you embrace it, you not only step into your destiny, but also create space for others to do the same. People are drawn to authenticity, and your gift carries an authenticity that cannot be replicated. The world is waiting for you to step forward. Every time you shrink back, doubt yourself, or choose fear, you are delaying something significant. Your gift is not about ego or recognition. It is about impact. It was given to you for a specific reason, and there is a divine urgency to use it. Someone needs your wisdom. Someone needs your creativity. Someone needs your leadership. Someone needs your voice. Every moment you spend questioning your worth is a moment that could be spent changing lives with the very gift you've been given.